The city was in chaos. A gigantic monster was destroying buildings as if they were made of paper. Sirens echoed through the streets as terrified civilians ran for their lives. Then, two heroes arrived, Super Fighter and Super Knight. Together, they fought as the perfect team. Super Fighter landed devastating punches, while Super Knight attacked with incredible speed and skill, striking with his sword. After a fierce battle, the monster finally collapsed. The city was saved. Moments later, dozens of reporters rushed towards Super Fighter. How does it feel to save the city again? Were you ever afraid? You're the greatest hero alive. Super Fighter smiled proudly and answered every question. Meanwhile, Super Knight stood alone. No one interviewed him. After the reporters left, Super Knight walked over to Super Fighter. "Why do you always get all the attention?" he asked. Super Fighter shrugged. "Because you're my sidekick." Super Knight frowned. "Your sidekick? I thought we were partners." Super Fighter laughed. "Partners? No. I'm the hero. You're the sidekick. I do most of the work anyway." Super Knight's face filled with anger. "Fine. Let's have a competition. Whoever captures the most villains in 1 week wins." Super Fighter smirked. "Deal." That same day, a dangerous villain appeared. His name was the Goblin Boy. Despite his name, he didn't look like a child at all. He was tall, incredibly fast, and unbelievably strong. He attacked a bank. Luckily, Super Knight arrived just in time. The battle was brutal. Sword against sword, fist against fist, kick against kick. They fought for what felt like forever, covering the streets in blood. Finally, Super Knight found an opening. With one powerful strike, he drove his sword through the Goblin Boy's chest. The villain collapsed and died. 1 week later, Super Knight approached Super Fighter. "I defeated the villain." Super Fighter barely looked at him. "Maybe?" "What do you mean, maybe? The media doesn't see it that way. So I weren't." Super Knight clenched his fists. "You weren't even there. Doesn't matter. Everyone sees me as the hero." After a long silence, Super Knight sighed. "You know what? I quit." Super Fighter crossed his arms. "Fine. If your ego is really that big, then you can handle everything by yourself. Go ahead and leave." "I will." And Super Knight walked away. 5 months later. For 5 months, Super Fighter fought alone. Although it was much harder, he managed to defeat every monster and villain that stood in his way. Until one day, he met the strongest enemy he had ever seen. The Goblin King. A massive warrior. Powerful, merciless, terrifying. The battle began. The Goblin King threw a single punch. Boom! Super Fighter was launched through 10 buildings. Barely able to stand, he charged back and punched the Goblin King with all his strength. The punch landed squarely on his face. The Goblin King didn't move an inch. Super Fighter froze. The Goblin King grabbed him by the throat. "You're the one who murdered my son, aren't you?" He squeezed tighter. Super Fighter struggled to breathe. No, it wasn't me." "It was Super Knight." The Goblin King glared at him. "Don't lie to me. The media says you're the hero." At that moment, Super Fighter realized something. Maybe Super Knight had been right all along. The entire battle was being broadcast live. Super Knight watched everything on television. He saw Super Fighter slowly being strangled. He picked up the remote. Why should I save him? He turned off the TV. As he walked outside, people surrounded him. Please, you have to save him. You're our only hope. Super Knight shook his head. He created this problem himself. Then a 5-year-old boy walked up to him. The boy wore a t-shirt with Super Knight's symbol on it. Tears rolled down his face. Please, save him. You're our last hope. Super Knight looked at the child. After a few moments of silence, he nodded. I'm going. He sprinted toward the battlefield. Just as Super Fighter was about to lose consciousness, BAM Super Knight kicked the Goblin King away. He smiled. It's been a long time. Ready to fight together again, partner? Super Fighter looked away. No. I had everything under control. Super Knight stared at him. I just saved your life. Before either of them could continue arguing, the Goblin King grabbed both of them by the throat. Now, I have both of you. Neither of them could breathe. Even then, they continued arguing. This is your fault, Super Fighter shouted. No, Super Knight replied. This is your fault, because of your giant ego. Super Fighter looked furious. Then, tears filled his eyes. He looked at Super Knight and finally said, You were right, and I was wrong. I thought I could do everything alone. But without you, I can't. I never should have treated you like my sidekick. You were never my sidekick. You were my partner. You were the real hero. Super Knight smiled. Thank you. But we're both heroes. He looked at the Goblin King. So, want to teach him a lesson? Super Fighter smiled through his tears. Let's do it, partner. Super Knight drew his sword and charged. The Goblin King was forced to dodge. That allowed both heroes to break free. At that exact moment, Super Fighter landed a devastating uppercut. The Goblin King flew high into the air. Super Knight leaped after him. With all his strength, he drove his sword deep into the Goblin King's stomach. The Goblin King roared in pain, then grabbed Super Knight in a chokehold. He ripped the sword out of his own body and threw it to the ground. Looking at Super Fighter, he smiled. What are you going to do now? Super Fighter looked at the sword, then at his partner, then at the Goblin King. He knew there was only one choice. He picked up the sword and charged. But the Goblin King pulled Super Knight directly in front of him. Super Fighter stopped. I can't. Super Knight looked him straight in the eyes. Do it. I can't. Do it. With tears streaming down his face, Super Fighter screamed, I'm sorry. He rushed forward. The sword pierced through Super Knight's heart and continued into the Goblin King's heart. Both of them collapsed. The Goblin King died. Moments later, Super Knight smiled one last time and closed his eyes forever. The city had been saved. Reporters rushed toward Super Fighter once again. You saved us! You're a true hero! Super Fighter fell to his knees beside Super Knight's body. Tears streamed down his face. He slowly shook his head. No! Super Knight was the real hero. He looked up at the sky. This is the end of the legendary hero duo, Super Fighter and Super Knight.